Hello, lovely. Oh my God, you made it. This is my favorite topic. This is my favorite mini masterclass that I teach on the spirituality of self-doubt because I attract a lot of spiritual women into my life, into my business, into my path. And I really don't know how to do this work without addressing the spirituality of life. Personally, I put God first in front of everything. God, the universe, higher power, whatever you want to call it, spirit. I put that power first in my life, and then everything else comes after it. And that is truly why I believe I am the happy person that I am today. That's why I believe that I'm free in the way that I am today. That is why I believe I'm worthy in the way that I am today, that I'm able to be productive, that I'm able to be successful. And I find that when I don't put spirit first and I don't put God first, everything else that like I decided to put before it, I start to lose that stuff. And then I have to remind myself, oh yeah, I got to go and do this stuff first. So I'm really passionate about this. And what I love about this topic is you're going to see that it's really like, this is the magic, like this is the juju. So you can learn about the neuroscience and you can learn why you self-sabotage, and we can rewire our subconscious beliefs and thoughts and all those amazing things. But the best freaking part is that there's like a spirituality behind your self-doubt, that once you crack this, like miracles happen, magic happens, and it's so fulfilling. And like the best part is like, even if the miracles and magic didn't happen, like when things start to materialize outside of you, the spirituality behind self-doubt is really about coming home to yourself and your self-worth, right? Like that's what it is about. It's about recognizing that we are children of God, or that we are God, that we are these divine creatures that came down here to have a human experience. And for some reason we have amnesia and we forget that. Well, we came here to have like to really, we came here to experience contrast. So if you really want to get into it, we came here to experience the highs and lows of being a human, the suffering, the pain, the joy, all of that. Because when we leave here, it's almost all joy and acceptance. And so we come down here to experience that contrast and to deal with our karma and to learn things and to most of all help other human beings and help other spirits along the way on their journey too. So that's my little mini TED talk at the beginning of this. I'm going to share my screen as I always do. Give me 1 second. There we are. So the spirituality behind self-doubt. Okay, so here's what we have, you guys. Here's what we have. And I just want you to take my word for it on all of this. Excuse me. Also, I'm wearing my Isis. Isis has been talking to me lately. I cannot tell you, she is everywhere. And then I saw this at a festival last weekend and I bought it, and it's just high priestess, the high priestess of love and magic. And like, I didn't even know that. I just saw her like symbols everywhere. And I was like, I need to get like this fucking goddess, this priestess is talking to me. And then only today, it's been like months of me like buying Isis things and looking at Isis things and symbols being everywhere. And then today I read up about it, and she's like the priestess of love and magic. So anyway, no big deal. So we are pure light, pure love, and pure infinity. We are the entire universe in human form, and we've just forgotten that, right? So this is what I said about coming down and having this human experience. And we came from the light. Before we came here to be humans, we were an expression, a part of true light, true acceptance, true source, right? We came from source and there was no separation. And then we came to be humans, and then we forgot that we were that thing. And the ego was born, where we believe that we're separate from that thing. And we believe that we're separate from each other. And we believe that there's darkness. And the truth is there is no darkness. There is only love and light and pure infinity. And like, that if we think of the human like existence or the human life that we live, it's like a blip in the system. And before is this ton of light, and after there is a ton of light. And this incarnation that we have of separation, that we think there's darkness or evil or non-light or negativity or whatever, it's like a blip. It's not, it doesn't, and even that blip is an illusion. So I go into this real deep in my program, and I go into it in the first week, and I teach the principles of non-duality, and I don't have time to get into it today. But once you understand this and you have like a visceral body experience of this, it makes remembering that we are light and love so much easier. And guess what happens when you remember that you are light and pure love and pure infinity? You can't fucking doubt yourself. It's impossible. Anyway, so self-doubt is a manifestation of fear and a manifestation of the ego. We separate ourselves from light, love, God, and the universe when we doubt ourselves, right? Which is what I was saying at the beginning of this, especially in the face of our dreams and our purpose and our service to the world. So clients who come to me, they have big dreams. They want to make big impact. They want to live a big life. And even if your career or your business is not about serving others, if you do well in your business, you serve your family, you get to spoil your parents, you get to like make your children's lives bigger. Like this whole thing is so much bigger than us, you know? And so when we separate, when we doubt ourselves, and especially in the face and all of the, sorry, lost my train of thought. But when we separate ourselves from that truth, and when we doubt ourselves, it's like a real tragedy, right? But it's perfect, because this is like the hero's journey. Like we need to hold space for it being like, okay, it's a manifestation of the ego, and like it's not true, and like, oh my God, I'm a little bit fucking up when I doubt myself, but also like know that it's so totally part of the journey. Because every time you doubt yourself and you do the work to remember who you are and you return, you make your soul stronger, right? You make that path back to who you truly are just that much stronger every time you return back. And it's a really beautiful process. And this stuff that I teach, the stuff I teach in my program, I'm going through it again. I'm at my next level of brushing up against my success ceiling, and I'm having imposter syndrome right now, and I'm having self-doubt about whether I can have my business at the level that I want it to be. And I know I'm like chilled, because I'm like, I'm in for the ride. Like, I know what I need to do. I know there's going to be a period of uncomfortability. I know exactly how to rewire my subconscious mind. I know how to bring spirit, God into this. And I know to just sit tight and do the work gently, knowing that my next level is destined for me, right? And I'm so grateful, because I'm learning to love myself and feel worthy and return to the light in a deeper way than before. Like every time it just gets deeper and deeper. So yeah. So the principles of non-duality influenced by my deep practice of Zen Buddhism and A Course in Miracles. So you may not know, I spent 3 months living in a Zen monastery last year in 2022. And I studied as a Zen student under these Zen masters. And I also actually went to A Course in Miracles monastery 2 weeks before that. It was interesting. There was one in Utah. There's one in Utah. And yeah, it was interesting, but I'm really called to this work, right? And again, spirit first, God first. And I got to study under some really amazing mystics and Zen masters about the principles of non-duality while I went and like immersed myself in these places, in these monasteries. And I, again, go really deep into this in my program. I mean, like, how does one even begin to explain the nature of true reality, the true world? But I just want you to keep an open mind right now, and just kind of take it. And if you're interested, if something in here piques your interest, like I encourage you to go read further. A Return to Love. I'm going to talk about this book all the time by Marianne Williamson, who I actually also met. Guys, I met Marianne Williamson when I was 21 in Los Angeles, and I was so starstruck. My friend was like, I've seen you meet so many famous people and you never like care. I've never seen you so shy in my entire life. And it was because like I may as well have been meeting Nelson Mandela. That's how I felt. Anyway, so here we go. Oh, read A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. If you really want to understand this, just read it anyway. It's a great book. So light and love is the only thing that exists. So remember how I said it's almost like we have this blip human existence, but the rest of the nature, the true nature of reality is consciousness. And, Zen and Buddhism talk about this. It's like this underlying, let's call it like an energy of true consciousness. And in that consciousness is light and love. And that is the only true thing that exists, right? And anytime we separate ourselves from that true nature of reality and have a fearful thought or a fear-based thought or a dark thought or a dark action, we are actually now operating in the realm of illusion, right? It's not who we truly are. And so we are now acting in fakeness. And so any deviation from that, from the light and love, is not real, because the opposite of that does not exist. So again, I don't know why I'm attempting to teach this to you in a 20-30 minute thing. And I teach it for almost an hour and a half in my in the whole module in my course. But non-dual means not two, right? So we live in a dual world where we think we're separate and there's good and evil and light and dark. Non-dual means not two. And it doesn't even mean one, because if I say one implies there's something else, whereas non-dual is just everything. So I always try and explain, if you had an empty room, just an empty room, and I made a light bulb appear in the empty room, then that's kind of like our world. If I took, and how only light exists. If I take the bulb away, what's left in the room? Nothing. Not darkness, nothing. It's an empty room, right? So there's these theories that like there was nothingness, okay, in the existence, the whole fucking universe, like we're getting really like out there right now, with nothing, darkness, absolute abyss. And then there was this like burst of light. And there's like a lot of theories about it. And we could talk about the Big Bang and God, whatever. But essentially this consciousness came in and we just went, but before that there was nothing, right? So before that, it's not that there was darkness, it's not that there was the opposite of this light, it's just that there was nothing. And then you have this you have this burst of light, and consciousness and love and source and God came into existence, and that is truly all that actually exists. Now beyond that, we have this human existence and everything, but just that's the premise of non-duality and consciousness, okay? And not consciousness, love, light, that all means the same thing. So only love is real, right? And because it is the only thing that is real, it can never be threatened, right? So when this burst happened and the love happened and the source and the true nature of like where we come from and consciousness happened, it's the only thing that is truly real. Because the thing is, we can die. Like when we think, this is like higher grade stuff, but when we lose our bodies, we still have consciousness that moves on, right? So we can die, but ultimately the true source of who we are, love and light and consciousness, can never be threatened. It will go on forever, right? So our bodies can die, but this this consciousness, this light, this love that we all return to after we die and we came from, will always be there. It's infinite. It goes on and on and on and on. Why? Because it was the light that burst when there was nothing, and now all that exists is this light, ultimately, right? Once our bodies die. This is why I have to explain this to spiritual people, because non-spiritual people are like, what are you talking about? So it cannot be threatened. Love cannot be threatened. And it's so we think that fear threatens it, but fear doesn't exist, right? Because only love exists. Fear is a human man-made thing. And I'm asking you, when I explain this to you, this is some higher level, higher grade spiritual shit. And I teach it in fucking module 1, which is a lot to ask of people, but I believe in you. And I believe that when we understand this is, the Buddhists talk about true reality, reality with a capital R. This is the true reality. This is the truth of us and who we are and existence and spirituality. And so, you can start to be like, oh, well, fear does exist though, because yesterday I was scared and someone can murder me and everything. And like, yes, I'm not going to gaslight the human experience, but for the sake of the teachings and for the sake of today, I want you to lean into the highest realm of your consciousness with me right now. Okay. So we think fear threatens love, but fear doesn't exist because only love exists, right? That's the principle of non-duality. And so fear is actually just a manifestation of the ego that went crazy years ago. Sometimes I like to think of it as like we were part of, like, this is really deep again, but we were part of source and we were part of consciousness and love before we came here. And then we decided to come have this human experience to experience the ego, because the ego creates contrast and separation. And it's almost like when we broke off from source, it was so traumatic for us that we had to develop the ego to make sense of why we separated when we came through to be humans, right? And that trauma like lives in the ego, and that's why the ego always wants to tell us fear-based stories. And that's why I say it's a manifestation of the ego that went crazy years ago. Again, if you go and read Marianne Williamson's book, and like you can go and research the stuff, it's so fascinating. And Buddhism like talks about all of this as well, like the true reality, the true nature of reality. So this is also, I'm taking you guys deep here. I didn't expect to go so deep. So this is also why love and positivity and light feel so good, right? And that negativity and fear feel so bad. It's because we're breaking away from reality when we feel negativity and fear. It's not the truth feels good. If it feels good, it's the truth. If it feels bad, it's a lie. That is my like motto for life and my thoughts and my beliefs. If it feels good, it's the truth. If it feels bad, it's a lie. And it's that simple. So that is why love and positivity and light feel so good, is because it's true. It's the true nature of who we are and what's authentic and what's actually real. And negativity and fear and hate and negative thoughts and darkness feels awful because it's not true. It's like this breaking and this separation, right? And every single time our body freaks out about it is what I wrote there. So when we have that fear base, that breaking away, our body starts to like, our mind and our body starts to be like, whoa, 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 this is awful. Oh my God, I'm not in truth. This is not good. I need to get back to truth. But we get stuck there, right? We get stuck there. So I want to talk about courage. So that's the principles of non-duality in Zen Buddhism and stuff. So when we are in doubt, we have separated from this this place of light and love. And in module 1, I have a meditation and I have so many amazing tools to really viscerally teach this to you. But for today, I'm going to say to you that there's this amazing prayer from A Course in Miracles. Did I put it in here? And okay, so the prayer goes like this. It's very simple. It says, God, spirit, higher self, universe, whatever, I'm willing to see this situation differently. So if you are in doubt about your life, or like any fear-based thing, any negativity, any fear-based thing, any hate, any doubt, any imposter syndrome, when you encounter a belief or a situation that's really holding you down, you can ask what to see the situation differently. Because if you are having a negative experience with this situation or this thought or story or thing in your life, you have slipped into fear. And so you are not seeing the situation accurately. You're not seeing the true reality of the situation, because the true reality is light, love, and consciousness. So when you say, universe, I'm willing to see the situation differently, help me to see it differently, all you're asking is to be returned back to that state of love. And this fucking prayer is everything. Like, everything, the magic and miracles. And that's why it's called A Course in Miracles, because a miracle, all a miracle is just a shift in perception from fear to love. And I promise you, magic happens when you become truly willing to see the situation differently. But first you have to have that self-awareness, right? Like, this is why self-awareness is so important. Oh my God, I've slipped into fear. Okay, universe, I'm willing to see this situation differently. Help me to see this situation differently. Amen, aho, whatever you want to say, and move on with your life. Okay, so courage in the hero's journey. An act of courage in the face of self-doubt is a coming home. So the hero's journey is really, like I was talking about Frodo, Moana. Joseph Campbell did work around the hero's journey, and I actually teach the hero's journey in another masterclass of mine. Send me, if you really want to do it, it's so amazing, and send me a DM on Instagram and say you want to do the masterclass on the hero's journey, and I'll send it to you. Understanding this changes everything, because it's like our spiritual journey is to become the hero, right? It's to go after our destiny, to go after our success, just like Moana, just like Simba. Simba also had to go, like, Simba was like, had a really hectic time, lost his dad, went, and he was living a very cushy life with Timon and Pumbaa. And then what happens? Fucking Nala shows up, and she's like, not chick, because he was a guy, he's a Simba. She's like, bro, you need to come back to Pride Rock. Things are going so haywire. And he's just like, no, I'm comfortable here. And she's like, well, we need you. And I can't exactly remember how things, but basically he had to go back, and Rafiki was his guide. And Rafiki showed up along the way and showed him that it was his destiny. And he was like, oh my God, this is too much. I can't handle this. And like, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it now, because this is the spiritual journey. Like, this is the human journey, the hero's journey. And so this like self-doubt and this imposter syndrome that you may be experiencing, it's perfect. It is so, so perfect, because it's exactly what you should be feeling. But you have to answer the call. You have to do the work. You have to answer the call. This was not a mistake. And I believe in you, because every time I've answered the call, I've been able to do it. And I've seen countless clients and people answer the call and do it. And their light and their love and their hearts are infinitely better because of it. So I'm pretty passionate about this section. Can you tell? So an act of courage in the face of self-doubt is a coming home, right? It's a coming home to who you truly are. It's a return to love. It's a return to light, the light that you are in your destiny, your soul's purpose, your spirit's purpose. It is a return to our true nature, even if our body is shaking through it. So courage is really important along the way. And having someone there to help you, and having accountability, and having a guide, someone who believes in you. So until eventually our return home to light, to love, to our true nature becomes, well, second nature, right? So that's what we do. We do courage over and over again until we're just a second nature to be courageous. And I can genuinely say that I have mastered that. Like, I'm not always confident in going after the things. I had an audition 2 weeks ago and I was freaking out again because I hadn't auditioned in a year and a half because I was stuck in the US and I couldn't work. And then I went to this audition and I was scared. But you know what? Like, I go in there and I do it scared because I'm courageous. Okay. And guess what? I honestly just went into that audition because I was like, I just need to show up, because if I don't show up, I let my dick win, my deepest inner critic win. And like, I walk the walk in this work because I actually didn't want to do the audition. I was like, no, this is just too much. So I just did it just for the act of being courageous. And I was not expecting to get like a callback or any good feedback on it. I like actually just gave up and was like, this is going to be awful, but I'm still going in and doing it. And I've been shortlisted. So, which basically means like I've been put onto the short list of like ideal people for this role. So there we go. Anyway, lastly, spiritually, our self-doubt is our guide, right? So it's always guiding us to our next expansion. This is the spirituality of it. If you're wondering where you're next meant to be, it is where your self-doubt is telling you you shouldn't be, if that makes sense. So it's like our guide. And it's a really, really good indication that you are on your hero's journey, that you are doing things. If you don't have self-doubt, you are staying in one space and a part of your soul is dying, basically, in that one space. If you are on the journey, you will be dying, but it will be your ego dying along the way and not your soul. And we just have to know how to manage it, the self-doubt, and stop it from getting totally in the way. It will never truly go away. And this is the truth. And this is what I'm telling you. That's impossible. And anyone who tells you otherwise is an absolute psychopath and is maybe in jail now because they like scam people out of money. But they're narcissistic. But every other normal, successful person experiences self-doubt along the way. Successful people are masters, let me make this smaller, at managing their self-doubt, their inner critic, and always take courageous action despite it. They are also constantly assessing, updating, and rewiring their belief systems, right? So I'm in the middle of that right now, updating, rewiring, and assessing my belief system. So I think that's it. That's it. Wonderful. So I hope that I really hope that that kind of blew your mind and that inspired you. If you have any questions, you guys know where to find me. You can find me on Instagram or just reply to one of my emails. I'd be happy to help you. And yeah, I hope I would really like this, because this is my favorite thing. If you watch this, I would really, 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 really love to know how this landed for you. Yeah, and as always, if you're feeling really inspired to get started on your journey, send me a message and we can hop on a call, and either you'll be a good fit for my one-on-one coaching or you'll be a good fit for the group coaching. Or I have other masterclasses and journeys I can take you through at every price point. So yeah, I love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day or evening and stay golden.